His children, 6 children, are in the courtroom at this point listening to all of this. And the jury was picked knowing that they needed a certain level of comfort to hear these types of descriptions. It was very emotional and really tough to hear, Brock.
Is there any message for the alleged victim? Do you apologize on behalf of your father? Do you believe your father's innocent? Do you still support your father? Do you apologize on behalf of your father?
For the first time, the three Combs sisters attended the trial to offer emotional support to their father. Yet, within an hour, they stood up, hugged each other closely, and walked out of the courtroom in tears. What was captured in the footage, shown at that moment, so intense that even Diddy's daughters couldn't bring themselves to stay and watch.
Witness.
That video is arguably the most important piece of evidence because it sets the stage when we're talking about coercion or fraud or force.
We need you to step to the side. Step to the side, please.
Give us a little space. Give us a little space. Give us a little space.
Inside the Manhattan federal courtroom, a tense silence settled before proceedings got underway. Cassie introduced a previously undisclosed video said to depict footage from a controversial freak-off, which may hold crucial relevance to the allegations against Diddy. Prosecutors described the video as a key piece of evidence, shedding light on a complex set of accusations involving Diddy and sensitive matters related to his family. Once the tape was formally accepted as evidence, the expressions among the Combs family grew increasingly serious, as if aware they were about to confront something that couldn't be undone. Just moments after the video began playing, Delilah quickly shielded the eyes of her twin sister Jessie. Meanwhile, Chance and Justin remained fixed on the screen, where the image of a familiar woman emerged. Could it have been Kim Porter?
Is it Kim Porter?
On those drives, the witness says 8 videos featured 8 celebrities at Diddy freak-offs or parties, and that 6 were males, 2 were females. The drive also included a manuscript of an alleged Kim Porter memoir, a memoir that her 4 kids insist is fake.
Whispers from the audience quickly spread, breaking the silence that had settled over the courtroom. Then, without speaking, all 3 quietly exited the room. The question remains, what did the video reveal, and why, on their first visit to stand by Diddy, did they choose to walk away?
Beneath Manhattan's leaden sky, a bustling crowd converged on the federal courthouse where the trial of Sean Diddy Combs entered what seemed like just another day. Outside, reporters jostled for position, cameras flashed incessantly, and protest signs rose high, bearing the words "Justice for the victims." Murmurs of speculation rippled through the throng, from curious onlookers to legal analysts, all sensing the weighty atmosphere before a trial promising high drama. Inside, the courtroom was packed, not a single seat vacant. Sketch artists' pens raced across paper, cameras clicked rhythmically, and the jury's gazes were steely, poised to dissect every detail. The air in that oak-paneled room felt compressed, each breath seeming to fight for existence.
The unexpected presence of the Combs family drew all eyes. For the first time since the scandal broke, the family's reserved seats were no longer vacant. Chance, Delilah, and Jessie, Diddy's 3 daughters, sat prominently in the front row, joined by Justin Combs, the defendant's son. They were impeccably dressed, their simple yet elegant attire radiating an unanticipated maturity. The girls' faces were stoic, their eyes seemingly concealing a web of intricate emotions. When the media inquired about their attendance, Chance responded with a calm but resolute voice, "We're here to support our father." Yet in their gazes something felt unfinished, a subtle void, as if they were steeling themselves for something far weightier than their words could express.
Prosecutor Rachel Harper, a middle-aged woman with silver hair neatly pulled back and wearing thin-framed glasses, stood from the prosecution's table. Her voice was clear and firm, steady like a drumbeat marking a significant moment. She began, fixing her sharp gaze on Cassie. Please explain to the court what has been called the freak-off and your involvement in those events. The courtroom seemed to hold its breath, waiting for Cassie's reply. Cassie took a deep breath, her eyes scanning the room before briefly resting on Alex sitting nearby. His calm stare offered a sense of support. She pressed her lips together and spoke in a quiet but determined tone, as if each word was chosen with care.
I met Sean in 2005. I was 19, just signed to Bad Boy Records. He was a powerful man, an icon in the music industry. He promised to take me to the top, to make me a star. But what I got wasn't stardom, it was a trap.
She paused, her eyes moving across the jury, as if to make sure they understood the seriousness of what she was about to share. About a year after we began dating, he introduced me to something he called the freak off. He said it was a way to relax and try new experiences. But for me, it felt like a nightmare I couldn't escape.
Wake up from.
What is a freak off? The freak off essentially was something that Cassie said she learned about through Sean Combs about a year into their relationship. He described it as voyeurism.
Cassie described the freak offs as carefully planned events controlled entirely by Diddy. She called it voyeurism. He enjoyed watching me with others, she said, her voice shaking as she recalled the difficult memories. But it wasn't just watching. He controlled everything. What I wore, how the room was lit, what activities took place, even how much baby oil we had to apply so our bodies would shine the way he wanted. She added that Diddy made her buy outfits from specialty stores, revealing clothing that he personally selected for her to wear. I had no say, she said, locking eyes with the jury, her tone firm. If I refused, he would threaten me, and I felt completely trapped with no escape.
Out.
It depends on where the relationship goes. If it's something that you didn't want to share and it's your secret, it's your secret. I do believe in karma if you're hurting people.
According to Cassie, the freak-offs were not brief gatherings. They often lasted between 36 and 72 hours. Her voice shook as she described the extreme exhaustion she and the other participants faced. One time, a freak-off went on for 4 days. They happened weekly, like a required part of my life, she said. She also explained her pressured role in organizing these events. I had to find people through platforms like Craigslist or professional services, she admitted, lowering, her eyes with apparent shame. I arranged their travel to places like Miami, Abia, New York, Louisiana, and Las Vegas. I worked with his team, pretending they were recruiters bringing people in, but it was all part of the plan he set. Cassie added that Diddy controlled not only the attendees, but also the settings where the freak-offs took place. He managed the lighting in the rooms. At first, it was candles to create a false sense of romance. Later, he switched to professional stage lighting, as if we were actors in a film where he was the sole director. She described how Diddy carefully planned every detail, from the movements of the participants to the specific acts he wanted to see. He even insisted on the use of illegal substances to make everyone more relaxed. Her voice caught as she recalled, I remember once, before a freak-off, I had to text him to ask which pill I should take from your bag, and he replied, telling me exactly which one.
Now, with each moment, the testimony became more and more graphic. Her delivery, though, it never changed. It was a matter of fact.
The trial reached a crucial moment when Cassie's attorney, Samantha Klein, a woman with neatly tied brown hair and a sharp gaze, stood and asked to play a video. Your Honor, Klein said clearly and confidently, we request permission to present evidence from a 2018 freak-off labeled as the White Party Archive. The courtroom fell silent, all eyes turning to the large screen in the corner. As the screen lit up, the first scene showed a lavish seaside mansion, palm trees swaying gently, and neon lights glowing through the night. Figures moved quickly amid electronic music pounding, mixed with laughter and muffled sounds. The footage captured what were known as Diddy's white parties, events where celebrities, entrepreneurs, and models gathered to enjoy a luxurious lifestyle. But what appeared on screen was far from glamorous. It revealed the darker side of these gatherings. Familiar faces appeared, a businessman in a white suit, a pop star with platinum blonde hair, and a model in a sparkling dress. They were shown engaging in compromising behavior, from drug use to actions crossing moral boundaries. The mood in the footage was oppressive, portraying a place where all rules seemed to vanish, and power and desire ruled without limits. From the witness stand, Cassie continued explaining her role in the freak-offs. I wasn't just a participant, she said, her gaze firm but with a hint of pain. I was forced to organize everything, from recruiting people to making sure they arrived at the right place and time. I worked under his orders, but I didn't want to. I was scared that if I refused, he would release damaging videos of me. She revealed that Diddy regularly recorded the freak-offs, keeping the footage as a means of control over those involved. He called those videos his insurance, she said, her voice shaking. If I didn't follow his demands, he threatened to make them public and destroy my reputation and my life.
And in her words, she didn't want to do it, but she felt like she had to do it.
Gosh, it's so difficult to hear all of these details.
The courtroom fell silent as the video shifted to a new scene. On the screen appeared a woman sitting on a couch, her eyes vacant and seemingly unaware she was being recorded. Her face was unmistakably clear. Kim Porter, the late mother of Delilah, and Jesse, saw Chance seated in the front row, covered her mouth, her trembling hands revealing her shock. Delilah and Jesse, the twins who had tried to appear strong, now sat still, their faces pale and expressionless. Delilah gripped Jesse's hand tightly, her nails pressing into her sister's palm as if to keep her steady. Their eyes quickly moved to Diddy, showing a mix of panic, pain, and deep betrayal before returning to the image of their mother on the screen. Kim Porter's hollow stare and confused appearance were more than just a moment caught on video. It was a silent accusation exposing the depth of the manipulative environment Diddy had created. Once known for her strength and independence, Kim appeared almost unconscious, as if trapped in a place where she did not belong. Her presence in the freak-off footage raised questions not only about her involvement, but also about darker concerns. Was Kim's death, officially attributed to pneumonia in 2018, truly an accident? Or was it the result of an effort to silence her from revealing Diddy's secrets?
They might got into a little spat, a little fight, or something went down, and Puff did that play fighting stuff that he always do, and that pillow fighting stuff, and probably smothered her.
Have a good evening, guys.
Diddy, unable to keep his composure, slammed his hand on the table and stood abruptly, his chair tipping back with a sharp screech. "Stop the video now!" he shouted, his voice intense, eyes red with anger. "My children are here. You can't do this." But his outburst was quickly overshadowed by Jesse's quiet sobs, soft yet piercing, cutting through the room like a knife. Chance, her eyes bloodshot, rose quickly and grabbed her trembling twin sisters, rushing them out of the courtroom. The sound of Delilah and Jesse's cries echoed down the hallway, a haunting sound that shook everyone inside. A juror bowed their head, hand covering their mouth, eyes filled with emotion. A reporter at the back shook their head, whispering to a colleague, "This isn't just a trial, it's a tragedy." In the cold courthouse hallway, Delilah held tightly to Jesse, trying to comfort her through the pain that had just surfaced. The image of their mother on the screen, with her vacant, unfamiliar stare, had pierced their hearts, breaking the warm memories they had of Kim Porter, the woman who had always cared for and protected them. Delilah remembered the nights when their mother sang lullabies, her gentle voice offering comfort during life's storms. Tears filling her eyes, Jessie could only whisper, "Why was Mom there?" Her question lingered, unanswered, replaced only by pain and a growing doubt about the father they once admired. Neither could accept the thought that Diddy, who had always claimed to love them above all, might have pulled their mother into a dark world and possibly played a part in her death.
We are about to play the freak-off videos, and guess who's sitting front row? Diddy's sons are in the courtroom.
Diddy's attorney, Victor Langston, a tall man with salt and pepper hair and a voice that commanded attention, stood to challenge Ms. Ventura, his sharp gaze fixed on Cassie as he began, "You've described these events as if you were a powerless victim. But consider this. You signed a 10-album deal with Bad Boy Entertainment, lived in luxury apartments, traveled internationally, and attended lavish parties. Is it possible you willingly took part in these freak-offs to secure your place in Mr. Combs's world?" His question hit hard, causing Cassie to hesitate briefly. She inhaled deeply, her eyes meeting Alex's across the courtroom, drawing strength from him. "No," she replied firmly, her voice steady. "I didn't choose any of this. I was forced. What I got wasn't a reward. It was the cost of survival. He controlled everything. My career, my friends, even my thoughts. I had no choice but to obey him. Because if I didn't, I'd lose everything." Her words echoed clearly in the courtroom, prompting subtle nods of understanding from some jurors. Langston pressed further, his tone lowering, attempting to trap her. "Ms. Ventura, did you ever work with others, such as Ms. Kim Porter, to organize these freak-offs at Mr. Combs's direction? Were you and Ms. Porter willing participants enjoying the lifestyle he provided?" The courtroom grew tense. The mention of Kim Porter, the late mother of Delilah and Jesse, cut deeply, reopening wounds the Combs family tried to hide. Cassie shook her head, pain flashing in her eyes. "No," she said, her voice trembling but resolute. "Kim was trapped just like me. We weren't willing. We were victims of the same system. He made us feel there was no escape, like everything we had, our careers, families, reputations, depended on pleasing him." Though Diddy remained seated, his discomfort was clear. His finger tapped nervously on the table as his eyes glanced toward the empty seats where his daughters had been, searching for some comfort in their absence. The video showing Kim Porter, alongside Cassie's damaging testimony, was more than a blow to Diddy's reputation. It exposed his most vulnerable point, his love for his children. Chance, Delilah, and Jessie, the daughters Diddy often called the center of his life, were forced to see their mother in a vacant, lifeless state, appearing as a casualty of the dark world their father had created. Their anguish, heard in their cries as they left the courtroom, underscored the video's profound impact. Their presence at the trial when the footage appeared sparked public speculation. Why did Kim Porter's children show up at such a sensitive moment? Many saw it as a deliberate move aimed at Diddy's greatest weakness, his devotion to his daughters. While Delilah and Jessie fled in tears, Chance and Justin stayed composed, their cold stares fixed on Diddy rather than following their sisters. This left many wondering, do they truly believe in their father, or does their calm mask deep doubts and readiness to face the truth? For years, the media portrayed the Combs family as united, especially after Kim Porter's death in 2018, which seemed to bind Diddy and his children. Yet Chance and Justin's presence at the trial hinted at more than just support. It suggested hidden motives and a quiet power struggle within the family. Chance, Diddy's daughter with Sarah Chapman, grew up feeling isolated, lacking maternal warmth. After Kim passed, her siblings clung to cherished memories while Chance faced loneliness. Public images of Diddy doting on Kim's children deepened Chance's sense of exclusion, casting her as an outsider in family moments. Justin, Diddy's eldest son with Misa Halton, showed a strong strategic mindset hardened by family trials. He viewed the Combs family like a chessboard, mastering its moves through scandals and legal battles. Unlike Chance, he turned pain into power, observing family dynamics from a young age. He saw Kim's children receive the motherly love he never knew but didn't respond with envy. Instead, he learned to read Diddy as both a loving and challenging father. Justin faced rumored scandals, silenced by Diddy to protect their legacy. These experiences sharpened him into a strategist ready to change the game when the time was right. The attendance of Chance, Delilah, and Jessie at the trial was no accident. Word had leaked that Diddy strictly forbade any family members from coming, aiming to protect his public image and shield his children from painful truths. Yet, when the three daughters took their seats alongside Justin and Janice, it shocked observers. What made Kim Porter's children typically obedient, defy their father's orders to appear on the day the damning video was shown? Suspicion grew that Justin and Chance, each carrying their own wounds and ambitions, had quietly planned to confront Diddy, their true reasons still unclear. Justin, with his sharp insight, had recognized Chance's vulnerability, her sense of abandonment. In the months before the trial, he approached her not as a comforting brother, but as a sower of doubt. "Have you ever wondered who Dad really is?" he asked quietly. He shared stories Chance had never heard about controversial white parties, Diddy's control over those around him, and Kim Porter, the mother they revered, possibly caught in circumstances beyond her control. His words reopened old wounds and stirred a need for truth. Though hesitant, Chance couldn't resist. She reached out to Delilah and Jessie with late-night calls, her voice shaky but urgent. "We need to be there for Dad, but also to understand what really happened." Without mentioning the video or Justin's revelations, Chance's sincerity convinced her sisters. Despite reluctance, they agreed to attend, believing their presence would support their father. Unbeknownst to them, Chance, influenced by Justin, became part of a larger plan. Whether Justin sought revenge, power, or truth remains unknown. Whispers even suggest Justin arranged for the 2018 White Party archive video, including Kim Porter's vulnerable moments, to be delivered to Cassie Ventura's lawyer, Samantha Klein. This was no coincidence. Sources say Justin used his connections to ensure the footage became key evidence. Aware of Diddy's loyal inner circle ready to protect him, Justin moved carefully. To safeguard Cassie and her husband Alex Fine, he allegedly organized discreet security measures, though this remains unconfirmed. "She's the only one who can tell the truth," he reportedly texted a friend, his tone cold but determined. If these rumors are true, the trial's tension grew as Cassie testified about years of control, threats, and abuse. "He wanted me to be his completely," she said, her voice low but firm, gripping the jury's attention. Chance, Delilah, and Jessie sat in the front row, each struggling with inner conflict. Chance masked her unease, torn between loyalty to her father and Justin's revelations. Delilah and Jesse, unaware of the full picture, looked at their father with love, only to recoil in panic when the White Party Archive video played. The screen showed a seaside mansion, neon lights flickering, chaotic figures, including Kim Porter. Frozen and shocked, Delilah and Jesse fled, their sobs echoing through the hall. Diddy stood, roaring to stop the video, his eyes burning, but he kept looking at Chance and Justin, sensing their deeper knowledge. Chance's steely gaze met her father's, silently demanding answers. Justin, arms crossed, remained unmoved by Diddy's rage, a cold satisfaction growing as his father's empire crumbled under exposed secrets. Still, a faint love for the father he once admired flickered inside Justin, pulling him between justice and the pain of betraying family. On X, formerly Twitter, public speculation surged under hashtags like Kim Porter Truth and Diddy Secrets, praising Cassie's courage for breaking the silence. But Kim Porter's video raised questions. Why did Chance and Justin, not Kim's children, ensure their sister's attendance? Some speculated Justin exploited Chance's emotional wounds to exact revenge on Diddy. Justin seeks power, Chance seeks truth, one comment said. The trial of Diddy is more than a legal battle. It's a warning about power, manipulation, and secrets hidden beneath entertainment's glamour. Another added, Cassie Ventura's testimony supported by the freak-off video revealed a world where Diddy held absolute control, using people like Cassie and Kim Porter as tools to maintain his power. The carefully staged freak-offs, suffocating an atmosphere, symbolized Diddy's dominance over those around him. Kim Porter's appearance in the footage forced Diddy's daughters to face a harsh reality, that their father may have dragged their mother into a dark underworld. The cries of Delilah and Jesse as they fled testified to the pain these revelations caused. Meanwhile, Chance and Justin's calm raised doubts. Do they truly trust their father, or do they hide private motives? As the trial continues, the public waits for answers to deeper questions. Were the freak-offs just part of a lavish lifestyle, or did they reveal a criminal network? Most importantly, was Kim Porter's death really an accident, or was it a secret Diddy tried to bury? These unanswered questions cast a long shadow, challenging the world to uncover the truth behind a man once hailed as a cultural icon.